Are we even making any real demands of these politicians? This conversation is always about sharing.
Exactly.
But we are not making demands. How many schools? What's the distance a Benue child should not walk to school? The maximum distance a Benue child should walk to school. So we say every community must have at least 10 schools. You know, things like that. There are those things are not in this conversation. Why?
Thank you very much. You see, it's quite unfortunate that the electorate and the people in Benue are not asking this fundamental question. Everybody is just fighting that power should come to my area, power to, governorship should go to so and so person because I'm his follower. I will benefit when it comes. But the general question, how beneficiary? Most of these people will have their track record. Visually, all of them contesting for the governorship. We know their track record. What have they done in the past? That we think that if we bring them to power, they will replicate it in general terms.
Welcome to Akweya TV, a station where we discuss history, art, culture as they relate to development. But it's interesting, on this segment, permutations, we're coming with something rather different. It's different because if you notice on Akweya TV, we have always avoided partisan politics. But we do know that for development to take place, politics has a big place to play, a big role to play in whatever we're doing. And this is why permutations, we will be discussing the different political permutations as they relate to development issues. So we'll be analyzing politics, analyzing politicians, but we will be looking at how they benefit the people in terms of improving the quality of their lives. On this maiden edition of Permutations, we have a wonderful guest in the studio. He is a publisher. He is a journalist of many years, standing over 2 decades. He is a football analyst too, you know. He also published a sports magazine. There are so many ways to describe this man in the studio. He is known as simply Mr. George Oko. You're welcome to the studio,
Thank
sir.
you very much.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
You have done some analysis about the recent happenings in Benue, the political happenings. And today, in this episode, we want to touch on some of your analysis. I pulled out some of the analysis you did, particularly about the political aspirants in Benue State, from the PDP, from the APC, and I'm sure the other parties that are emerging. What do you think the terrain looks like now, right now, in terms of doing something better for the people politically?
Well, thank you very much. The situation in Benue State, it's very confusing right now. For you to be able to point to any certain area that should occupy the government house in 2023, it's going to be very, very, very difficult, because most of the blocks in the state, we have about 3 senatorial zones, and then 2 of the 3 are contesting for the governorship of the state. And they all have rights to the agitations.
Okay.
But in fairness, it's going to be very, very tough. Why one of the blocks have occupied that position for a very long time now, it's being rotated between 2 of the zones of the Tiv-speaking area.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the other, which is the Benue South Senatorial District, predominantly the Idomas, the Igedes, the Akweya, and so many other tribes, they have never occupied this position.
Yeah.
And they are calling on everyone to see to their plight,
Yeah.
especially in a country where in most of the states, the minorities have been allowed to provide leadership. They have all occupied. If you go to Kaduna State, you go to Akweya, you go to so many other states, the minorities have been allowed. But in the case of Benue, the dominant tribe, which occupies 2 of the senatorial zone, have been rotating the governorship between themselves.
And they have the clan, the groupings.
The groupings, you know. Then they have 5 families.
Yes, 5 families.
5 families. There's the Jengba, the Sankara.
Yeah.
They talk about the Minda, the Jechira, and the Kwande.
Yeah.
You know, they also say politics is a game of number.
Yeah.
They have the number
to
continue to dominate in this position. Yeah. But the people of the Benue South are saying that, look, for equity, fairness, justice, and to make us belong to this enclave called Benue, you need to also take us along, even though we don't have the numbers.
Yeah.
Just their cry is not far from what the Igbos are saying in Nigeria. That yes, if the Yorubas, the Hausas, Fulani, have had opportunities to provide leadership, why not the Igbos? Why wouldn't they give them? Even though they know they don't have the strength as per number.
Yeah.
But they should see this thing. So the people of the Benue South are actually asking for this. But if you look at politics, it says a game of number, it's a game of interest. The people of the native-speaking area, it will be very difficult to say, leave this thing for us. So as it is right now, the agitation by all groups now to occupy that position is very tensed.
Yeah.
And we don't really know where it may go.
If we say, I mean, for the benefit of those who do not know the Benue politics, why has it rotated between the Tiv families? And why is it that the Tiv families say it has to go back? Because I hear that under Otom, the rotation is fully gone around the Tiv families, right?
Yes.
And now the Tiv families say it has to start again from them.
I think the problem is fear of the unknown.
Yeah.
You know, something that we are quite used to for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
To let it go is usually a problem.
Okay.
They have that fear that, look, probably for years, having occupied that position, there must be a benefit that is coming to those 2 senatorial zones.
Yeah.
And now probably are afraid to let this go, thinking that if the Zone C occupies this position, what we refer to as Zone C is Benue South.
Yeah.
If they occupy this position, those benefits, they may not be seen it any longer.
What are the benefits?
Well,
what are the benefits? Why is it that the interest of the people in terms of good roads, good hospitals, not being represented? If you go to zones A and B, the roads are equally bad as they are in Zone C. So what are these benefits?
Well, unfortunately, just like you have said, if you go around Benue, you may not see any of this benefit to the common people, the ordinary people.
Yeah.
So to me, what they are doing is more like a creation that for their own selfish benefit, the political class, what accrue to government financially, to the state, to me, it should something that will bring serious development, especially to the grassroots. But when you go around, you will not see it. So obviously, there is a problem there.
Yeah.
Some people are benefiting to the detriment of the ordinary people, the peasant farmers. But when this kind of agitation starts, collectively they want to bring everyone together to believe that we stand to benefit if we have so and so position.
Yeah.
Most especially that of the governor of the state. Because really, you don't see any of this benefit.
Yeah.
So it must be that the funds, monies that are accrued to the state is being shared by a certain class of politicians. And they are the one really pushing this thought that power should remain constant in the 2 senatorial zone without going out to the other.
If it were to go to the Zone C, senatorial zone, what is the evidence there that things will be different for Zone C? Because we've seen the dilapidated roads in Zone C, and people in Zone C have occupied significantly prominent positions at the national level. Hospitals are bad, roads are bad, schools are in worse shapes. What's the guarantee that if a Zone C person were to become the governor of Benue, something would be different for Zone C people and even for Zones A and B?
Well, for me personally, it's a very critical question. The Zone C people today are agitating to govern the state. But I always ask, in their agitation, what kind of governor do they want to present? Is it because they are looking for governor, so anybody from Zone C can just come up and then everyone in Zone C is asked to vote and then calling on other parts of Benue State to vote for such a person? So to be frank, if we are going to make that kind of presentation, then the quality of person that should occupy that position will be someone who will do things different from what the state has gone through with leadership. It's very, very clear that Benue State has not moved forward since 1999. And if somebody from Zone C must occupy that position, it must be somebody that has the wherewithal. The person has all the standard to provide great leadership for the state. After all, we've seen a leader before. Everybody venerates Akweya. Everybody talks about Akweya of the 1979 to 1983 or so. He visually did everything about development in Benue State. So if we are looking for a leader...
But they criticized him then.
Well,
remember?
It was more like politics. And, you know, those days he fought a lot of battles with the opposition party. But when he left, a lot of people saw things. Outside him, two or three other people came to that position, left. And even though they are alive, they are still being criticized for not getting it. So if a Zone C must occupy that position, it must be somebody that will certainly do well. Not just any other
Hold
person.
that thought, because we could go on break and ask you a very difficult question after that. Whether Engineer Benson Abounou, the deputy governor, the current deputy governor who has been shortlisted, is the person to occupy that office on behalf of Zone C. Is his aspiration valid? On permutations, I'm going to ask this question just after the break. If you're watching on YouTube, please feel free to share this video to your family and friends and let us engage in this conversation. And don't forget to subscribe. Hold on, we'll be back in a few seconds.
Hey, what's up, people? My name is Solomon Lange, and you're watching Akweya TV. God bless you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ochaya Ojofu. I am the founder of Akweya Children Carnival. Watch Akweya TV.
Ye masni ame Veronica Ochido. Engaga ya Akweya TV.
Agatugole gadam. Ihi egun kama Oge David Ubede. Ngo Bagaji, Pugolega Agatu, local government of Benue State. Ungo reporter Akweya TV. Akweya TV. Welcome back from the break, and thank you so much for sharing the video and for subscribing to our channel. We have been on Permutations on Akweya TV, looking at the political developments in Benue. And I said when we come back, we're going to ask a tough question. And that question goes this way. The People's Democratic Party has released the, prime people in Benue. From the Conscitia axis, you have Julius Atoro. From Vandike axis, you have Professor Dennis Itiavia. From the Kwande axis, you have Tewasi Obunde. And then from the Ushongo axis, you have Paul Ohi. And then from Zone C, you have Engineer Benson Abounou. Given all the aspirations that the Idoma people, the people of Zone C, have expressed, is the current Deputy Governor, Engineer Benson Abounou, the right person to be presented under the People's Democratic Party for governor?
Well, that's a very tough question. Engineer Benson Abounou, for all I know, is eminently qualified to vie for the position of governor of Benue State. He's a very experienced man, like you know.
Yeah.
He's been the commissioner in the state in the past during the Georgia Kumes governorship. He also served Moses Adasu. Then coming down to the Otom era, he became the deputy governor. And you know his background. He's an engineer, a well-experienced one who has worked with some of Nigerian best companies you could think of. So he's qualified to run for the position.
Being an engineer alone does not qualify you.
Well, because you know why I say this. Benue has an issue.
Okay.
And Benue, unfortunately, from time in the past, a lot of people feel that we've not had leaders that were thoroughbred especially when it comes to area of technocrats and others. So Abounou, for me, is someone who has participated in government. His background can also help him out. That's why I talk about the engineering. To look at Benue State as a whole and say, look, what can we do for the progress on this state? Yeah. But I'm not saying Abounou may be the choice of the Idoma people. Okay. Because there are other contestants, especially coming from the APC. Yeah. In the APC, we have Chief Stephen Lawani. Yeah. And we have Sam Ode. Yeah. I know of one or other two persons who
have Michael Oglegba.
Michael Oglegba. They are all in the race. Yeah. A school of thought has said that, look, for Benue State to progress, we should cut down the leadership age. Okay. Because they said during the Apeaku time, Apeaku was just 40-something. Yeah. He did very well. Yeah. And subsequently. And, you know, those who are saying that the likes of Abounou, the likes of Lawani are in the old class. Okay. That means they may not really have something to offer anymore. That people should go for a younger person like Samudi or Glegba and the others you are talking about. But in their own defense, others are saying that, look, they have given these young people position in the past and there was no remarkable progress. Yeah. So we should stick with the older ones who can use their knowledge base and their mind frame to kickstart a developmental revolution for Benue State. So as it is, the argument is going up and down. But like I told you, Abounou is not a bad choice. Okay. But there are others who have very good CV for that position.
Okay, we can come back to let's analyze the PDP, the 5 PDP hopefuls. Yes. You know, when so Julius Atoro, you have Professor Dennis Itiavia, you have Tewasi Obunde, who was Chief of Staff, right? Or is he still Chief of Staff?
No, former Chief of Staff.
and then you have Paul Ohi. Okay, let's start from Paul Ohi. What do you think about Paul Ohi in terms of delivering dividends to the people?
In fairness to all these aspirants you named, they all have remarkable qualification, and any of them can occupy that position and do well. But the truth is this: PDP for a very long time have been practicing zoning system.
Okay.
And in the attempt to do this zoning, what they say is that, look, for power to go round, so that once area does not dominate, we need to do zoning to bring about fairness, equity, and justice. So they implemented this zoning. Even the PDP constitution, zoning is not clear, but they say fairness, equity, and justice should be practiced. So when an area does, it moves for fairness, let the other one also do. Luckily, they are practicing this thing within the TV land. But when it comes to the larger scale, but like I told you, any of them could do well.
We don't want any of them.
But now only one person can occupy. How do we make that choice? Is to eliminate by substitution. Is for us to look at zoning. Paul Ohi is a brother to Apeaku.
Okay.
He's from Oshongu.
Okay.
He's from the Oshongu Kwande block.
Okay.
Now, when the governorship, when they started this rotational system, Apeaku from Oshongu divide of the Kwande family became the governor.
Okay.
After Apeaku, when the civilian rule came back, a Jingba man that is from Boko, Buruku, Taka, George Akume, came on board. And after Akume, a Sankara man in Gabriel Suswan came, and now we are having a Minda.
When was Adasu?
Adasu from Konshisha, who is from the Jechira family.
Came
before Akume, then Suswan, then now we have Uton from Minda. So you could see, because of the agreement on zoning, it has gone round. So Polohi could not be asking of. If it's going to the Kwande zone, there is somebody from Kwande that has the right to seek that position, not the Oshongu. So that's why Tewase Obunde from Kwande, the former chief of staff, is looking for that position. They have their own internal agreement between Oshongu and Kwande.
The microzoning.
The microzoning. So now it's Tewase Obunde or anybody from Kwande that could occupy it. It's something with the Jechira, Vandekia Konshisha. Adasu, unfortunately, only spent barely 6 months. His zone was too short. Apeaku did a full term. It was during the second tenure the military took over, and that was why this was truncated. But in Adasu, in just 6 months, the man was only settling down before the military intervention. So for me, the Konshisha people, he's from Konshisha. That tenure was, can you refer to it as a tenure?
Well, he took an oath.
6 months?
He took an oath.
It was too short.
I mean, it was like the situation.
So we can overlook that one and say, look, Konshisha can still put in. But if we are to say, he has taken an oath of office, and has spent just 6 months, Konshisha has been settled, then obviously they will look at Vandekia.
So Vandekia, that would be.
Now we understand Professor Tiavia has emerged under PDP. But we know of very strong contestants coming from APC. The Professor Alia, the Reverend Father Alia, who, from what we are seeing, is gaining so much grassroots support, and a lot of people are calling for him. Why? is because they felt the regular politicians have not done well for Benue State.
Okay.
Now they are looking at a priest, just like looking at a pastor.
Yeah.
Looking at a priest that, look, this man could be our Messiah.
Yeah.
To take us out of where we are. And that's why he's gaining grounds.
That's another factor I was going to come to in the Benue politics. It's emerging so strongly where you have Otom, is a pastor of the Redeemed Church. You have the Totiv
pastor, Deeper Life.
Deeper Life pastor. The Idoma,
Deeper Life.
the Deeper Life pastor. Then you now going to the Catholic bloc, going back essentially because Reverend Father Adasu, Moses Oshio Adasu, was a Catholic priest.
Yes.
And I want Reverend Father Alia to come in. It's going to be an interesting dimension again because it's like we're having too much religion, no development.
Well, it's, you can't say too much religion, no development.
We're leaving everything to God. God will not build roads.
But the people you just mentioned, most of them are traditional rulers. They have not participated in government.
Yeah, but they have real relevance in terms of making decisions, in terms of when they look at the kind of palace that we use government money to build for.
They wrong. I believe most of these things are wrong decisions, and they are being taken from the government house, not them. They are just beneficiaries.
Yeah.
Otom is when Otom was vying to become governor of the state. He didn't go about telling people he was a pastor.
Yeah.
People voted him because of Otom. They know as Otom the politician.
Yeah.
Suswan was not a pastor.
Yeah.
Georgia Kume was not a pastor.
Yeah.
So, in fairness, it's not, you say too much religion.
Yeah.
I disagree with you. We only have religious leaders at the periphery.
Yeah.
But the main people taking a shot in the state are those politicians in government.
But the underground game, you hear often the NKST people want to produce the governor. And I think
Reverend Kian
Akume
is of the Catholic.
Is Catholic.
Yes.
Suswan is
NKST,
the NKST.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's also that religious dichotomy that is always playing a role. It's being used in making the choices. So that's when I say too much religion is actually that the religious groups are being weaponized in the making of these political choices. Yet the demands for good governance, which brings me to the point, are we even making any real demands of these politicians? This conversation is always about sharing.
Exactly.
But we are not making demands. How many schools? What's the distance a Benue child should not walk to school? The maximum distance a Benue child should walk to school. So we say every community must have at least 10 schools. Things like that. There are those things are not in this conversation. Why?
Thank you very much. You see, it's quite unfortunate that the electorate and the people in Benue are not asking this fundamental question. Everybody is just fighting that power should come to my area, power to governorship should go to so and so person because I'm his follower. I will benefit when it comes. But the general question, how beneficiary? Most of these people will have their track record. Visually, all of them contesting for the governorship. We know their track record. What have they done in the past? That we think that if we bring them to power, they will replicate it in general terms. Very few of them have shown us that, look, I have occupied this. Like, let me give you an example. Someone like Julius Aturo. Is a financial expert. He's somebody that has shown in clear terms. People may not like him because, when successful business people, sometimes they are very prudent. So they will not go about throwing money about. But they lay down plans where you see that I have a microfinance bank. I have this so cooperative. If you come, you can benefit. I can teach you how to grow your business and you benefit. So he's been doing that. So we see him, he's very clear on it. It's not a seasoned politician.
Okay.
And that's why sincerely he appeals to me.
Okay.
Then someone like Father Alia,
Yeah.
he's a priest. He's from the religious. Whether we like it or not, we know that most pastors, priests, and others, they are well trained.
Yeah.
And the people are supporting because they say this one will not steal our money.
Hopefully.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Even though there is no evidence to show to it.
Yeah.
But faith, they believe that this one will not steal our money.
Yeah.
So he appeals to a lot of people. Now, the other group of people we have are seasoned politicians. Is politics, they've all been playing.
Yeah.
Some have very solid background. Paulo, he has solid background. Even the Tewasi Obunde is an architect. He has a very solid background. But if you realize people are beginning to think otherwise of seasoned politicians.
Yeah. Because they just go for burials,
Yes.
buy drinks for people.
Exactly.
And give you
So
bags of
the
rice.
question is, if people don't ask this question,
Yeah.
what is this man bringing on board? Can we trust him?
Yeah.
He has not told us anything.
Yeah.
We need to see what you can do before we take our decision. If we don't ask those questions, we just look at them that we are party people, we just follow, then we may get it wrong again.
Okay, so finally, before we go on permutations, what should the Benue people be asking for in simple terms? You have been a journalist practicing in Benue for at least 15 years.
Yeah.
What should the Benue people have been asking for from these politicians, Abounu'S, Obunde, Tiavia, all of them? What should Benue people be asking for?
Okay. To me, what the average people should, or generally the people should be talking about is this. In Benue today, we don't have water.
Okay.
Electricity is a problem. No motorable interlocal government roads. The standard of education is down. Healthcare is not there. So we should be asking, you want to be our governor, you want to govern us. These sectors, what's your plan for them? Not just coming on board on a platform and say, look, I'll give you water, I'll give you this, I'll give you that. How are you going to do it? We want to see it.
Okay.
Practicable. How are you going to do it? Are you going to allocate 1 billion to this sector?
And
say,
where are you getting the 1
and where are you getting it from? And then, if you allocate 1 billion to this sector, how are you going to spend it? What are we going to see in the next 6 months that you have started and these things are functional?
Yeah.
If you ask the average politician, they may not be able to break it down.
Yeah.
So it may be all lies to get on board. And when you get on board, you do as you want.
Yeah.
But if the Benin people hold them accountable now,
Yeah.
they will come with a lot of money, come with a lot of sweet talk. But if we ignore their money and ask them this vital question, that how are you going to do this? And what are we going to see that is going to be tangible? We may not even look at their past record. You just explain to us how you want to do this thing. Then we'll begin to take people seriously. Across party divide. Benue State is not talking about one party system. They are looking for any party that will bring somebody that can explain these things to them. And I bet you they will vote that person.
Thank you very much. In our next episode, when we have you in the studio, I would want us to look very closely at the people from Zone C. Okay. The aspirants. What are their chances? What are their pedigrees? And can they displace Engineer Benson Abounu'S, who is the one right there now
in the forefront?
Yes, in the forefront.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us on the show, Permutations. And for those of you who have been watching, We really appreciate your spending time with us and sharing these videos. Please share right now and put your comments in the comment section. If you're watching on NTA, also go on YouTube, youtube.com/Akweya TV. If you go on any of the social media platforms, all of them, we are at Akweya TV. TikTok.com/Akweya TV. Everywhere, we are always going to be with you and looking out for your development.